Hello, it's Friday, and you're watching the Pre-Viral Show.
What is up?
Gentlemen, good to see you. How are you?
Crypto Panda, what's up, man?
What's going on?
What's up, right? Happy birthday, man.
Yeah,
Dude,
happy birthday,
Happy
Rex.
birthday, brother. Happy birthday.
I'm so glad I won the 10 million.
Well, you won the 10 million. You got to give somebody
did.
10 million.
420, baby. 420.
That was it, huh?
Yes.
That's
'cause
so
I got
good.
10 million.
That was good. That was good. That was close-ish, maybe.
Did you announce it yet?
I haven't announced it. I'm gonna announce it here in just a little bit, probably about 5 hours from now.
You know what's funny about it is people actually think that's going to happen. You totally threw me under the bus, and I got people like, "Well, do I send you my Ethereum address?"
No, they didn't.
Yes, it's crazy.
Of course.
Look, I
Dude,
hope I win.
people were like, I really hope I win. I'm like, nah. All right, guys. Am I gonna have to come down on everybody here? Am I gonna have to yell everybody? Come on.
Oh,
Bunch of
did you have a fun time?
IOUs.
You have a fun birthday? Your birthday?
Yeah, fun birthday. I don't get to see my brothers much, so we all hung out and shot some pool and had some drinks and just had a good time last night for sure. Good time.
Awesome.
So, Brandon, earlier on one of Matt's streams, one of his many streams, because apparently he's doing like 5 a day now. Someone asked if I was your little brother.
Oh,
And
really?
I explained to them that I'm actually older, but I picked on you so much that you grew to 6'4".
Dude, there's a lot of weird conspiracy theories out there about who I'm related to, and I've heard it all. Like
William Wallace.
What's a good one?
Well, I mean, I am loosely related, not by serial number, to Richard Hart, apparently, based on some people. So that's funny. And then just some other Mango Junkie. I think somebody told me that once. A couple other people. I don't know.
If I saw you guys hanging out, I would think that you were. I would think that you were maybe cousins of Mike Max.
Mike Max.
You
Mike
know,
Max.
Poseidon,
That's right.
you know,
And we did
I get
meet.
that.
We actually we grabbed a drink a couple months back. That was fun.
I saw that. Well,
Yeah.
dude, happy birthday. Hope
Uh-huh.
it was a good one. And it looks like we got a little tiny hex pump.
Yeah,
Ooh.
we're moving and grooving.
So-
It's long overdue, I think.
Most definitely. I
Yeah.
told Matt earlier, I hadn't, I took a break from buying for a while.
Yeah.
Not because of Hex, but because I was just like so angry with giving away gas fees.
Yeah.
And last night, I took everything I've been saving and aped in last night at 1.187.
Well, that might be a really, really good. I mean, isn't there a huge buy wall right now created by whoever's running the OA for Hex to basically snatch up some really, really cheap Hex? I think 18 cents is the buy wall that's been created.
Oh, really? I did not.
It's like there's like $25 million worth of orders at 18 cents.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I was accidentally awesome.
Yeah.
Then I just don't like. I love crypto. I love Hex. I love these videos. I love all the stuff we're doing. I love being on Twitter. But I've just found that like it does whatever it wants to do, whether I'm looking at it or not.
Right.
And last night I was sitting there and I was like, I think it's coming, and even if it doesn't matter. I'm putting this in, and then I don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, ultimately it doesn't matter, man. In the big
No.
grand scheme, X is
So,
going to do Hex things. It's going to pump.
Absolutely. So let's say hi to a little bit of chat. If anyone deserves an insult,
Terrafin Terrafin always. We don't like you. Thank you for not being in my Telegram group. And you spelled birthday wrong. It's BIRTH. Thank you.
Wait, speaking of which, crypto freedom, you're missing a P. I saw that in unless you're trying to be Krypto freedom, I don't know, but I noticed earlier far out aliens was spelled incorrect. I figured it would just help people. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't do it on stream, but yeah, there you go. And I'm gonna Matthias. Hexkin should join Dow Treasuries, win the proposal, and invest the treasury. Man, I'll tell you what. This was both a good idea and a not so good idea a couple of months ago. And DAOs are dead. Wonderland was the last to fall. Ohm was the original. Wonderland was doing great. It just absolutely crumbled. And I watched because I love crypto culture. So I was watching projects and founders, but I watched communities, and I actually really liked Wonderland, and I liked Danny Sesta. I don't know if what has happened is recoverable. And I literally watched like a dozen DAOs rise and fall in like a 2.5 week period of time. So maybe you have a different take on it. But I'm a little bit more skeptical than I was. I would have been, 2 pre-viral shows ago. I would have said, okay, let's unwrap this a little bit. But I'm not so sure, man. Everything I see, literally everything, and I've been drinking the Kool-Aid over a year now. Pushes me back to Richard Hart, his team, Hex, PulseChain, PulseX. It just does. All right. So yeah, Matthias, I have to hope I'm saying your name right. The important part is the treasure. I get that. Yeah. It's a great fundraising, mechanism. And so again, I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but people chasing those high APYs pretend they're in it for the long term. And really what they want is the 58,000% APY. All right. Crypto freedom. Fix it in real time.
Yeah. Nice.
There it is. No problem, man. I just, if you got food on your face, I'm going to let you know. So that's what it is. So I got to share something. I got to start. This wasn't even on my normal thing, but it's just so awesome. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't read Sci-Vive, and I didn't know about Richard Hart before Hex and all of the self-improvement stuff. But I always knew like there was a huge draw. People were listening to him. And a couple of years ago, it just wasn't my thing, or I might have come across him. I needed, and I used today his video on how to apologize. And dude, Richard Hart isn't married, but it's good. It is so good. And I loved. And so I'm going to start checking out some other ones. By the way, he doesn't have a video on panini maker burns. I checked that one out. Did
your wife throw a panini maker at you too?
No. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Completely separate. No. Had I not apologized correctly, maybe.
Right.
By the way, you know what I'm using the panini maker for?
What?
To cook meat.
Dude,
in my office.
Is that not awesome?
Best. I don't want to go off on a tangent. We talked about it a little bit earlier. We can get back into it. But bro, thank you for the little nudges and guidance and heads up about it. I'm literally losing like a pound a day. Freaking love it.
Dude, it's great.
So what I want to say is, if you haven't checked out any of his videos, of those older videos, the self-help ones, scroll through and pick one and watch. It's the most amazing thing. I'll call him Little Richard, younger Richard, sitting there like I see now. I got my own read on his sincerity and what he's looking to do and what he's trying to do for the world. But I now see why so many people trusted him at the beginning when you see the way that he was back then. Have you guys watched any of those
I have
videos?
I've watched some.
Oh yeah.
I read Sci-Vive. I've done that quite a bit.
Okay.
So what was the technique? Share with the audience.
Okay, so here's what it is. And by the way, Matthias, yeah, dude, let me wrap this up. If I see someone doing a DAO token and they're doing it the right way on PulseChain, I'm not gonna lie, I'll be very tempted. That will be the one thing that I might be interested in doing. So we'll see what ends up happening. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's nodes projects that get a lot of that are getting a lot of action on Phantom and Avalanche. So I'm interested in watching that. But what he basically says, it's kind of like, a lot of great things are things that you already know.
Mm-hmm.
What he effectively says is you don't just say sorry. You say, I'm sorry. You repeat the thing that you did. I didn't intend to. And he uses like stepping on your foot. He keeps it pretty simple. And here are the actions. I'm committed to doing this. And here are the actions I'm going to take so that I don't step on your foot again. It's so simple. those actions. And yet, man, when you're pissed, it's not easy.
No.
But it works. It works. And you have to be sincere when you say it. You can't just go through the motions. But I'm sorry, that's going through the motions. This. And so I really was like, I'm going to do this in a heartfelt way. And
can I add one thing to that?
Still married. Yeah.
I'm going to add one thing to that. One additional thing that would be helpful when you apologize is actually asking someone to forgive you, saying, will you forgive me? Because that's like the ultimate thing, because they have to answer you. Now, they don't have to, but if you say, will you forgive me? What is actually, and no one does that anymore. They're just like, I'm sorry. And certainly that what he's teaching is helpful. But that whole idea of will you forgive me is a huge thing, because when you agree to forgive someone, you let go of it, and it's powerful stuff.
I've never actually experienced like having to apologize to anybody.
Yeah,
so
why would you? Yeah, you're never wrong, so that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you and Richard have a lot in common. Aren't you his brother or cousin?
Brother in law, 3 generations removed. Bobby Joe was the connection.
Okay,
loosely connected via serial number, connected to a JPEG, something like that.
Connected to a social security number, I guess you could say.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Well, Matt, to your point, there have been studies, behavioral science studies, showing what the brain looks like when you are truly and sincerely forgiving someone. And it's and so I'm not saying that you messed up and now you're giving them a gift, but by giving them the chance to actually forgive you in that regard, you get some feedback on it. But if they truly do forgive you, then they're getting better.
Yeah.
Guess who's here?
Guess who's
Davis
back?
Is here.
What's up, Davis?
Davis is here with the yo's.
What's up, Davis?
All right, Panda, I've got something for you.
Let's hear it. I don't need to talk the whole time.
No, you're good. I want to introduce our theme for the show, which is freedom, and I want to also tie this into Brandon's heritage. So one of the things that whether or not there is a relational connection to Richard Hart or not, I don't know. But one of the things that I do know is that if you go way, way, way back in history, into when you get into like genealogies.
Hold on, I gotta change glasses for this one.
You end up going and you find that Brandon is actually related to William Wallace, right? And what's amazing about this, and if you've seen Braveheart the movie, you know this, because the same thing that happened to William Wallace is happening to Brandon from Rags to Riches. Because what happens is they're like, you can't be a William Wallace. He's like, he shoots lightning bolts out of his arse. And here's the thing. Every time a story is talked about Brandon, he becomes taller. Have you noticed this? He started out as 6'2", then he was 6'3", then he's 6'4". He's, he literally killed 1,000 men with his stare through his glasses. So
Matt, how tall was he here?
Yeah, he was 6'3" there. He's grown at least an inch by streaming.
Okay, got it.
So he definitely, and he potentially does shoot lightning bolts out of his arse.
Well,
but that's all about freedom, right? That's what William Wallace said is freedom.
Let's answer Magnus's question. Who wants to take this? You guys Ledger users?
Rags, go
ahead, man.
Can I keep my hex in my Ledger and get them copied, or do I have to move them to MetaMask? No, your Ledger is actually a independent wallet on the blockchain. So when you log back in after the fork to your Ledger, make sure everything's changed properly in MetaMask, etc. You'll see your PRC. You don't have to move them.
Well, technically, your coins are on the blockchain, right? If you think about it, you just have access.
Them.
Yeah, your keys access what's already there. That's why it's all transparent.
I don't know that it's a catch-all, but I've just assumed like if you can take your address and post it into Etherscan and see it, and your coins there, just your coins, then you're good. But I would double check on things like that. And also, if you go to t.me/hex security,
don't know.
If you go to hex.com and check out the links page, there's resources there, and you can go there and ask, and that's all those folks do. Papa Boner is really good with stuff like that. So one quick thank you, Davis, for the additional information. Yeah, what you're planning in the future does not make the same issue occur again, and I think that's what he meant by the steps that you're going to take to ensure. Now, and I think that the part of that is like you could screw up again. You could step on the person's foot again. You could do those things, but you're saying like I care about you. I see you, and I'm taking measures to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Steak Yo Hex, good to see you. Three amigos making this world a better place.
What's up?
Yeah, these guys are so busy. These guys are so busy that they showed up at 30 seconds before we started, and whatever. I'm just a
Wait, Matt shamed me. When did you show up, Matt?
No,
Right
he was.
before you did.
Yeah, no, just a couple minutes.
My
He
man.
said he's going to be late though, and he still beat you. Brandon killed me once with a lightning bolt. Yeah, I don't know if that's what it was, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Red squirrels in the house. Man, good to see you. Got 26 people watching. Share it. Share that stuff. All right, I've got a couple things I want to talk about. Well, actually, Matt, on the note of freedom, I know this is something that you were talking about earlier today. Do you have anything to share along those lines to kick us off before I start showing some silly graphics?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you think about what's happening in the world right now. Just certainly stand in solidarity with our Canadian friends who are driving trucks and peacefully protesting. And you see this all across the globe. And, certainly within the Mexican community, I mean, I haven't seen a group of people more concerned about freedom and sovereignty and self-determination before. And to me, it's great to see people having the courage because it's contagious, and people feel like, you know what, I can stand up for what I believe in. And a lot of times good, honest, hardworking people are like, you know what, if it doesn't really affect me, I'm not going to get involved. Well, now you're messing with livelihoods and people's kids, and you just don't do it, and you don't realize it. I think a lot of the political folks in the world think that they can just do whatever they want, and it's getting old, and we see it all across the globe. And, we see Russia and China buddying up together. I mean, there's going to be a currency war. There's going to be all kinds of things going on. And of course, we've got, wars and rumors of wars. And I just think it's really exciting that we're a part of an ecosystem that Richard's building that really are the tools of production. In my opinion, he's putting down the infrastructure for us to have more freedom and more sovereignty. And, that's how I see it fitting into all this, is that you're going to find yourself in a position of abundance. And that's going to provide you with options, and options is freedom, right? Increasing your personal freedom and sovereignty. And so I just see it. And I interviewed Daniel Miller, who is the author of the best-selling book Texit, which is about Texas leaving the Union. And then had an interview with the executive director, Nate Smith, of the Texas Nationalist Movement. It's really cool to hear how Texas has been working towards standing up to the federal Leviathan. And so really, really cool. So that's what I have to say.
Matt, did I hear you say earlier that I know the Canadian truckers were doing it, but now truckers in other countries are starting this as well?
Yeah, there's a couple countries. I probably get this wrong. I thought Denmark was one, and then there's talk in the United States of it as well. I mean, it's effective. It's very effective to, put down gridlock and honk your horn. So, what's sad about it though, do you guys ever watch Russell Brand? He's out of the UK. He's a comedian, but he's also brilliant. And of course, the stuff that's happened with Joe Rogan, people are like, hey, a comedian's talking to people about stuff. Isn't that like that? Isn't that the First Amendment? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing?
And
Russell
he
Brand
has a bigger audience than me. And
I'm 11
paid
million
to shill
people.
this crap. Yeah, it's jealousy.
And it's fun. Oh, it's total jealousy. And what's funny though is it used to be that people would defend your right to speak your mind, even if you weren't popular. And now it's like, well, you're taking our audience, and so we're not going to let you talk. And it's funny that they're threatened by a comedian who's open-minded. And Russell Brand is actually another version of this that I really admire, because these guys, Joe Rogan and Russell Brand, you'd think that they would be kind of more liberal people. And it seems like the more that they point out what's really going on, which I consider to be actually more Marxism than fascism, and it's serious stuff. And it's just becoming obvious because we've had this shared experience across the world with this health issue we've been dealing with for the past 2 years. But I know Brandon has a lot to say on this topic, because I learned everything from Brandon.
Well put, Matt.
Yes. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, look at that. Just a mouthful of words.
Well, think of what Dave Chappelle, right? They tried to cancel him.
Oh yeah, cancel him.
But here's the thing: they'll say that's the narrative that's being pushed now to try to attack all these comedians. Historically speaking, though, comedians have been the ones that they brought up the problems in the world.
Yep.
And they brought it up because they don't really have anything to lose because they're just up there making a joke, right? But they have been the agents of change in society. Mm-hmm. They really have, going all the way back. Bring up problems, you can do it on stage pretty easy. So the other thing is, you can't really be a dumb comedian. You got to have a certain amount of intellect, a certain amount of intelligence, a certain amount of, hey, like I got to work the crowd. I got to come up with effective jokes. I have to deliver it. I'm in front of people. These aren't dumb people, not stupid. So when you say just a comedian, like, what does that even mean? You know, really good people.
Well, and what's great about Joe Rogan and Russell Brand and others is that it used to be in America that journalism was about having a curious spirit, just being interested in what's going on. And now it's so, because of the business model, it's so editorialized that, you know, if you're not shilling what your sponsors, what your sponsors are promoting, it just becomes entertainment. It's just a different business model. And, you know, you got a guy like Rogan and Brand where they're just like, hey, we're curious about this stuff. And we want to, you know, I love Joe Rogan because he changes his mind all the time. He's an open-minded, curious person. And when did America become a place where you censored people who were open-minded and having conversations with experts? I don't understand it.
And all he wants to do is have a good, that's what he says. He's like, I just want to have interesting conversations. I'm not trying to be controversial, but you can't go on his show and start spouting a bunch of stuff. He will literally stop you and have, you know, Jamie, you know, look it up. So good, more power to anyone that's doing what they're doing and not beholden to some overlord or overlords to toe the company line. And that's why we're here. You know, that is exactly why it is that we're here. So I'm going to pull something up. I got to figure out which one to pull up. It's nothing like that. They're not that old. They're
like,
not that
great. What's coming?
Well, okay, so I do have one.
Okay.
You know, I don't judge people for their hex flexes, but you do try to get a read on people sharing certain aspects of their lifestyle. And sometimes they're not hashtagging it hex flex. And I just want to know what's up with this.
Ooh, dude.
What'd you do?
Shaken, not stirred.
Did you dumped on our heads? Is this a rental? Did you buy it? What's going on here?
Well, I ended up buying it because I never returned it, so I guess I did buy it.
James Bond.
And what's cool, I think you look at the speaking of freedom, you look at the frame to the left. All right.
Yeah, I can't read.
Which is basically some freedom-oriented things from the United States in that little frame there. But I was what was that? I think I was at maybe a Christmas party or something like that. So nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. I just like sharp. I like the white. I like the white look, not the black look.
Yeah, David says the bow tie's sick. True. You look kind of like a panda, if I'm being honest.
Well, I figured you'd say that.
Either that or a waiter.
So I know sometimes if we don't talk about price predictions and things like that, then you know, people like price predictions. So we have a guest coming on in a couple of minutes that I'm really, really excited to bring on, and we'll get to that. I want to say hi to a couple other people first. Let's see, Davis. Davis, you're taking up the chat. Although, you know, hey.
CBD, he got it right. That's what Brandon was doing. He was actually making a house call.
Earning them ones.
Yeah, why? Gigolo, male gigolo.
Why flip houses? What is it called?
What?
The house flipping thing?
I don't know.
Red Squirrel's thinking maybe you're doing some catering. It's possible.
Table service, sir.
That's so good.
Well, hopefully to some pretty important people at the very least. Can't be dressed nicer than them.
That's true. All right. So want to bring on our next guest. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let me do something here. I don't know if I should show this first or no, I'm not going to. I'm going to bring on the guest because I'm excited. Okay, so I met this gentleman on the internet. He's a YouTuber for PulseChain, and most recently, he had a video that I thought about doing, and I really liked it. So I wanted to bring him on today to tell us a little bit about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Crypto 7.
My goodness.
How are you, man?
How are we doing, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Loud and clear.
Fantastic.
I love
Thanks
your
very
stuff.
much.
Love your stuff, Crypto 7. Love it.
Oh man, I'm blown away. I've been watching you, CryptoHeartBeat. I really appreciate that. That's a real privilege. Thank you very much for saying that.
Hey, no,
Oh,
I want to talk to you sometime. So I'm so
Oh,
glad to meet you.
fantastic, buddy. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I really enjoy your content and Brag to Riches as well. Thanks.
Don't say that.
I've seen you about.
Don't say that. It's not
No,
worth it.
No.
Definitely leave me out of it. Leave me out of it.
Yeah. I've
So
watched all
Crypto
your
7,
content.
Tell us a
Panda.
little bit. Oh, sorry, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then also I won't set it up. I'll let you set it up. But the video that you made recently, and then I'm gonna share. I did a poll today, and I'd like to hear if you have additional stuff to add about that video. Would love to hear more about it. But price prediction ish incoming. So everyone, pay attention.
Sure. Well, my life story is quite a long one, so I'll save that for when I have a chat with CryptoHeartBeat. But yeah, on this channel, I started this channel to connect up with people because I'm obsessed with crypto like you guys. And most of my friends, they glaze over after 5 or 10 minutes, and probably sooner than that, really, to be honest. But so I've set up the channel to connect with people, and I've really enjoyed it, and it seems to be going okay. And yeah, so just keep going. I got into crypto in 2017, Ethereum mining. Quickly worked out that it was better to invest, and yeah, the rest is history. It's been great.
Cool. So the video.
Yeah.
Let's hear about it.
You want to hear about this 6 months pattern, Richard Hart's. Okay, so there's patterns everywhere. Okay, so obviously you've got fractal patterns and fractal patterns in TA, and technical analysis is basically just an analysis of patterns. And another pattern is that Richard Hart has got a track record for massively successful cryptos. And so I've invested in Pulse and PulseX on the basis of that pattern is going to continue, okay? So that's an example. So patterns can be quite technical in technical analysis, or they could be quite simple in that you can see, okay, Richard has one crypto so far, and it's smashed it out of the park. And I'm going to assume that the pattern's going to continue, and that we're going to do the same with Pulse and PulseX. I think that's why there is so much interest in those cryptos, isn't it, guys? So so that's patterns. Now another pattern is that Hex has never gone more than 6 months without forming an all-time high. Now, that was over 4 months ago. So there's about 6 or 7 weeks until we get to the 6 months point again. In a recent live stream, Richard Hart made a point of referencing this, not just once, but twice. He mentioned that Hex has never gone more than 6 months without making an all-time high. So obviously, if we look at that, the all-time high was 20th of September, I believe, 51 cents. We're at about 19 cents as we speak. Oh, by the way, I see that the wider crypto market is helping to spark Hex. I'm expecting Hex to pop very soon, as people anticipate that Hex is going to go up a lot as we get towards launch of Pulse and PulseX. I'm expecting traders to front run the launch of Pulse and PulseX, and the buoyancy in the wider crypto market might well just form the catalyst. But it was coming anyway, and it's going to happen. And it's another example of one of the things I talk about on my channel, which is that although Hex is a lot less correlated to Bitcoin than something like Ethereum, there's still some degree of correlation. And you can see that even today, and I can see you guys nodding your heads. Even today, you can see that Hex has been wanting to go. Hex has been wanting to go for quite a few days now. And just the fact that the wider market's moving might just be the spark that triggers it. So Hex is a lot less correlated to Bitcoin than, say, Ethereum or Solana or Matic, but it's still correlated. And so, for instance, if if Bitcoin does really well from here, then Hex, Pulse, and PulseX are going to absolutely smash it out of the park. If Bitcoin stays around here, then I anticipate that they're going to smash it out of the park, just to a little bit less of an extent. If Bitcoin goes to 10, 15K, then I think, you know, we've got to prepare. It's not going to be so good. We'll still be in the best performing cryptos, I don't doubt, but we're not going to see the sorts of predictions that some of the other content creators like K4K are pushing out. I think the wider market is going to make a difference. But I've not come on to talk about that. I've come on to talk about specifically this sexy issue that Richard says that Hex has never gone over more than 6 months without making an all-time high. Now, the context in which he mentioned this, guys, is massively important, because I have some marketing experience. I wasn't a marketing guy myself, but I had marketing people work for me. He had a movie production company / marketing company doing that live stream for him. They were there expressly, guys, to get marketing messages. It was actually a relatively short stream by Richard's standards.
Oh,
And
this is good, dude. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, go.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. And so in it, he made a point of mentioning not once, but twice that Hex had never gone over 6 months. And he obviously commented on the fact that Bitcoin has taken 3 years to break all-time highs, but Hex never more than 6 months. Now, so why has he done that? He's either a complete idiot because he set himself up for a fall, because in 6 weeks' time, which is nothing, that he's going to be proved wrong, or he's insanely confident that Hex is going to be at an all-time high in 6 to 8 weeks. Now, we all know that Richard is no dummy. He's anything but a fool. In fact, unlike most people, he actually thinks faster than he speaks. So he trips himself up very, very rarely. In fact, I can't even think of the last time he did. So the idea that he's paid loads of money to have this company do all these marketing messages for him. Literally what they will have done, because I've worked with companies like this, they'll have said, like, Richard, here, this is what we need you to do. We need you to talk for about 30 minutes, and we need you to give us about 6 to 10 of the key strapline messages. We call them straplines in the UK, soundbite, key marketing messages. And we want you to tell us those over 30 minutes, and don't mind the guys. They're going to walk around with the cameras, and Richard's gone, okay, right? So but Richard will know anyway, because he'll have worked with companies like this, but he'll have known the score. So he knows what he's going to say. So now the chances that Richard, with a 200 IQ, has had the guys there, and he's twice pointed out that we're about to break a pattern, the 6 to 8 weeks when we get to all-time high, it's inconceivable. So Richard must know something. Well, we know that 6 to 8 weeks is the launch of Pulse and PulseX. We don't know. I'm very sure, I'm very confident that the serious traders are going to front run that. So he's thinking, yeah, Hex is definitely going to be at 51 cents or more in 6 to 8 weeks time, which is nothing, because we're currently at around 19, 20 cents. So that's 150% gain, guys, in 6 to 8 weeks, or a 2.5x. Where can you get that? So I'm very excited. So I watched this stream, and I just jumped onto my MetaMask and Trust wallets and bought some more Hex. So not financial advice, guys. You do you, I'll do me. But I think this could be the last chance we're going to get Hex around these sorts of prices.
Man,
Wow.
Thank you for that. And Hex Bull Run, that's right. No expectations, because we are hearing other things that are going on. Brandon, I feel like of the three of us, maybe I'm incorrect here, but you seem to have your head more in the macro in terms of the finance world. What are you seeing? Like, if you watch Whales Only, and I think that Jay, they did something, and it's like something's coming. What are you seeing on your end? And I don't know that it'll necessarily be counter to what he said, but that's such awesome insight, Crypto 7, because you're right. When it's professionally done, he knows what he's talking about. So no expectations, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's very exciting.
I haven't heard many folks say what you've been saying, 7, and that's we are correlated. We're definitely correlated emotionally to the broader markets, right? So when things are running hard, then we're going to run harder. All right. When things are slowing down, we're going to slow down too, just not as much because of the USDC pairings, liquidity.
Yeah, essentially that's right. There's a sort of, and this is something I think that people have some confusion over. There's, you can be correlated. You can also be correlated one time and not correlated another. And we saw that with Ethereum that broke free of Bitcoin earlier in the bull market, but right now it's tied to the hip with Bitcoin. And yeah, and I think also there's an area where Hex is going to go, do you know, I don't care what you're doing, Bitcoin. I'm going to smash it because I'm due a pop, and Pulse and PulseX similarly. But if Bitcoin was to really sink, then I think at that point it'll grab the decorrelated cryptos and it'll say, you're coming down with me now. But the good news, guys, is I think that's not going to happen. And of course, today would seem to be further confirmation of that. I think that the likelihood that Bitcoin's going down to the sorts of figures that some people have thought possible, because anything's possible in crypto, but I think it's very unlikely. Which isn't to say that Richard's wrong, by the way. Richard's already been very, very right. If you price Bitcoin against the Hex price, which is something I think we should all be doing now, as Hex takes off as it's going to in the next few weeks, I think more and more we're going to start pricing things in Hex. And if you price Bitcoin in Hex, then Hex, as Richard points out, has 10x'd against Bitcoin in the last 12 months, while Bitcoin's gone down. So the decorrelation there is massive. But if we still talk about things in the dollar, well, you know, I think it's very unlikely that the wider crypto market's going to go as far south as some people think it might, particularly when you consider that the dollar, the buying power of the dollar is just melting away. So you've got the spending power, you've got the inflation issue there. So I think that, but whatever happens there, Richard's already been right. I'm not here to say that Richard's wrong. I'm just here to say that, you know, I think that Hex is going to be over 51 cents in 6 to 8 weeks. It's about 6 or 7 weeks, isn't it? Until we get to that 6 months period.
March 19th, March 20th. Well, Crypto 70 changed Godfather J6's vote from a yes, or from a no to a yes. And Matt, I want to get your take on this. Chat, do you think we're going to hit the all-time high by March 19th, March 20th? Hit a Y? And if you don't think so, and let's see what we got. What's your take on this, Matt?
So, one, I want to give credit to Crypto 7 for being so astute and paying attention to the finer things. We noticed on that stream that the depth of field had changed, the background had changed, and clearly it was somebody that had professional experience. Lighting was better. I saw the folks in the shot there. I noticed that as well. And you make a really good point. When you've hired people to come in to do that, and you're as smart as Richard is, all of that was intentional. And I think that you're being very intuitive about what's potentially happening. The other thing I think we need to realize is that, remember during the 731 event, I remember Coffee, I was interviewing Coffee, and he said, yeah, I was hoping to have dinner with Richard, but they kicked me out. There were only 42 seats. Yeah. And I thought it was really interesting that those 42 seats were filled with people who flew in on private jets, and Coffee wasn't one of them. And
we're thinking the same, buddy. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that promotional material, sorry to jump in there, but we're on the same page completely, same line, same page. I think that promotional material, where was it going? It was going to these VIPs. It was going to those super wealthy people, some of whom are happy just being in the background. They don't want to be in the public eye for whatever reason, and that's fine. And I think that's where it was going. And that's you make a very important point there, CryptoHeartBeat, because that's another issue I didn't mention. The material that was produced there, it had to age well, because it wasn't for them. That wasn't a stream. That was about pushing out marketing material, and it had to have a shelf life of at least 6 months, because they'd have wanted to use it. So again, another reason why Matt, he knew what he was doing there, and that shows he was so confident. Oh, and by the way, if we don't get to 51 cents, Crypto Panda, and we get to 41 cents, say in 6 weeks, I'm still claiming it. I'm still claiming it, buddy.
No, dude. You will get all the credit. You will get all the credit, because that is him saying. One of the things that I did early on when I watched when I was sort of studying Richard Heart and the community in general is that I would look for what I can only call like signals. So he can't say specific things. He can't make price predictions, but the things like the random green line. Here's a chart with a random green line. Like, who does that? Well, he does. and it's like he gets what he wants. I guess you can put it that way. And so when I first saw that I saw it on TikTok and I was like, "Ooh, this is amazing," and sent it to a WhatsApp group. But your observations of those intricacies of it and the intention behind it make me even more bullish. I aped in last night, which is awesome. But if I hadn't by then, I would be now from your read on it.
Yeah, great.
Well, think about this too, guys. This might be the catalyst for that pump, or certainly when we get closer to Pulse launch. But you're going to have a bot that's going to go through. It's going to buy up all the liquidity from all of these exchanges. It's going to drain it out. What's going to happen? What's the only thing that can happen if you drain out 30 million dollars of liquidity from everywhere else, put it in PulseX? That could be it. And even if we don't hit all-time high, maybe we're thinking about it the wrong way. Maybe we're thinking about the total value of what people hold now will be worth more later. So we don't even have to hit all-time high necessarily. If we split E hex, P hex, and people have copies, the question is, does he want those copies together to equal more than just the Ethereum side? So I think either way we come out on top. It would be certainly nice to have an all-time high, but I think the catalyst is going to be that fixer bot. I think it's going to buy up all that stuff, and it's going to cost. I mean, we're talking about the ETH hex pairs. We're talking about the USDC hex pairs. All of that. It's going to pump it, I think.
Yeah.
Crypto said we got a question. We got a question from chat from Davis. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So where do you see the video of BitBoy promoting Pulse to his 1 million subscribers?
I think BitBoy, it was PulseX, and it was one of his sidekicks, who's one of the producers called DZ, who's a lovely lad, and he was saying he'd aped into PulseX. And the point I made in my video was that BitBoy Crypto move as one. And so when Ben Armstrong invests in something, most of the team will do the same. Because why wouldn't you? Because he's got the ear of the developers and things, so he knows what to buy, like all the big YouTubers. And so obviously his team will bow to his expertise and his better contacts, and they're going to do the same. So what I'm saying, I don't think DZ's independently necessarily come up with that. It's almost certain, and that would be the general standard approach, that if DZ's in, so's Ben and the others in the team. And that's the point
Good
I was
call.
making there.
It gives Ben a little bit of separation, a little bit of distance.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, that's another. Yeah, that's the thing. And then once we get to Pulse and PulseX launch, then I think they will. The big YouTubers will be promoting more actively. And I say something to be conciliatory and friendly to the big YouTubers is that at the end of the day, there's thousands of cryptos out there, and so they're kind of thinking, okay, Richard, wake me up when you launch, and then I'll do something. And to an extent, I think that's fair enough. I mean, for us, we've got a very myopic view of crypto because we're all in on Richard Hart's cryptos. But I think you've got to understand that they're covering an awful lot of cryptos, and I think when they'll get excited is when we launch.
Well, one of the things that you pointed out there that I think is worth also kind of extending is the fact that this is new. Right? We think that Hex has been around for a long time, but what Richard's doing with the Pulse chain is very new, right? It hasn't launched yet. And to your point, and now I'm really seeing where you're going with this with, let's say you're one of these big time whales, if you have the ability to contact the founder of something who's building an entire new layer one and is doing innovative things and you believe in him, it makes a lot of sense to message and to provide essentially some of that wake up. Like you said, hey, you need to wake up. This is what's coming. And I would assume that those people who have a lot invested, which is really a part of what has strengthened Hex, right? A lot of big whales coming in, is that you would give them information because, look at Wall Street Bets, right? Why did it become so big when it came to the short squeezes? It's because people work together. And if you think about this idea of community, we're out on the fringes talking about this stuff, but there's a group of people who have significant ability to move the market. And they're busy people. And Richard is good about saying, hey, I'm going to, I think, let you know what's going on and give you a little idea of the timeline because we're getting close. And I think you're absolutely right. And I hadn't thought about it this way, but Yeah, Richard's got a vested interest in all of this and is putting together content. I think it's really intuitive of you to see that. But I think any of us would do the same thing, is when you have investors, right? It's not a traditional company, but when you have friends who believe in you and invest significantly in you, why in the world wouldn't you want to keep them informed?
Yeah.
And their information and their collaborative effort, I think it's a really good sign, because we would assume that just naturally things would go up before the Pulse Chain launch. But you know what? It doesn't hurt you to put together good marketing materials and good video content to help folks know this is serious. I'm serious. You're not going to get this just from my regular streams. I'm going to tell you directly, and now's the time. And if you think about that, what's going to happen here? There's only going to be one fork, right? There's only one doubling of your bag. And so I think that there are people that are saying, hey, well, let me know. Let me know when it's time. I'm busy. And, those people that are flying around on jets aren't the ones that are just watching YouTube videos. So very astute of you, Crypto7.
Well, thank you very much. And I think you've nailed it there as well. So I think that's right. I think there's a waiting room of big investors waiting. And they know that things have been held up a little bit in the Pulse and PulseX waiting room launches. So they're waiting for that to happen to enable Hex to go on to the level it should be at, to go to the next level. And meanwhile, I think they're deploying their capital elsewhere, which again is fair enough. It's not what we do, because we're diamond hands, etc. Well into Hex. But a lot of these guys are going, okay, right, well, a bit nearer to launch. So again, I think they're not going to wait till launch either. They're not going to wait till launch, because they're going to want to be in before then. So they're just waiting to see some confirmation. So I think as we start to get towards 30 cents, I think that's when things are going to really start to go exponential. But yeah, no, thanks very much, and I do appreciate you inviting me on, Crypto Panda. And it's been
of course, man.
It's been lovely to actually talk to people that I've been watching. My strategy now is to watch less of other content and to try and come up with, and only to see what excites me is where I'm actually coming at it from a slightly different angle. And I've got 10 areas where I'm slightly different to everyone else, and I think that adds value, because really all I'm doing is presenting a model. And I might be wrong, but it's great to sort of compare and contrast and see other perspectives. I think in some areas of my 10, I'm right, and I think this is one of them. But there's other areas where I may not be right, because when you try to come up with a different opinion to a lot of clever people, you're not always going to be right. But it's great fun.
So Crypto7, I'm going to put we'll update the description with links to your Twitter and your YouTube.
Thank you.
Your Twitter is it like 7 crypto? Is it backwards or something? What's the...
I think it's just crypto chat 7. I think it's got a chat in it, but
okay.
Also just I think you'll find me, and but also on YouTube I'm just Crypto7. So okay. And that's brilliant. And guys, I'll put links to your channels in my next stream. I've really enjoyed coming on. It's been lovely. It's such great energy with you guys.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks for the insight. Really appreciate it. Kind of blew my mind today with that. With those insights. So
have a lovely
thanks
evening.
A lot, brother.
You
Cheers,
too,
guys.
See ya.
God bless.
Wow. Dude,
cool stuff,
you're
man.
Bringing the high caliber folks into this pre-viral show, dude.
Dude, it was so good. That was so good. Yeah, it's funny because like people get on your radar and you check in with them, and I saw like I think maybe his second video, and was like, okay, I like this guy, and I don't know, for me, like the English accent's always good too.
Oh, it's so soothing.
That's why I like what's his name, Conrad.
Yeah, West Virginia accent's nice too, and the
those
western
are pretty
side
nice.
of Virginia. Yeah, it's more of an Appalachian. It's an Appalachian feel.
Western side, well done.
Western side of Virginia.
Western side.
You gotta be careful there with your words, boy.
That's right. You're pretty.
Extra careful. So I want to unpack something here. So we are talking about these, the private jets and these, and these aspects of stuff. And part of this stream, we're talking about freedom. And the other part that I added to it was positivity, because when Hex was going sideways and going down a little bit, it was a little bit harder to muster. I mean, you guys, if you're on Twitter today and you're watching chats, like people are a little giddy, things are good, but these whales, these wealthy individuals, they may not they may not be watching all streams start to finish, but the ones that are truly interested, that are smart, are running their tests and seeing what's this community like, what's going on. And so I just want to, in fact, I want to share this person's tweet.
What's their impression of rags to riches? That's my question.
I would like to talk to a couple people about that. Just take a random poll.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, what do whales think of Brandon?
They're like
4 out of 5 whales believe.
Just here for the chess. It would be a poll question. But I said this before, but one of the things I like about, let me get this chat off. Thanks, Science Crypto. Is that drew me to your guys. You guys are both of you guys, man. You're freaking angels. You guys are hooking people up left and right. You embody the ethos that I absolutely love about Hex and what attracted me, to it. That Hexcan ethos of each one teach one and doing right. And I liked this. This is Stan Moonfund Capital, because it's like this pops up. This isn't the first time someone has said something like this. I think I've tweeted something in the past. But when you think of it from the angle of there are other people that are waiting in the wings, and big money doesn't wait for a specific price. Big money waits for time and results and actually like on paper data to show that things are good. But when you're getting getting a pulse check of a community, the more positivity, the better. And so, Brandon, obviously on Rags to Riches, like the insult stuff is so good. Anyone watching knows what's going on there, but just the positivity in the chats, like I'm so impressed, and the positivity that I'm seeing on Twitter, like it's winning. Positivity is winning, and people are looking. Today everything looks green, things are going well. But when things, generally speaking, are down, people are looking for the yield and they're looking for places to feel good. And so that positive messaging and the we're on team win, it's not to say that someone that knows Richard Hart or knows, some of these OG Hexcans, if you want to call them that, are all in. But, maybe they're not all in. And then they come and they go, wow, this community is going to pump my bags. And they dig a little bit deeper. So,
well, and
I love that.
In this tweet, can you throw it up one more time?
Yeah, sure.
One comment here. This is really good advice. When you think about network effect, I mean, nobody in Hex doesn't want it to grow, right? We want it to explode in growth. And he's saying network effect relies on kindness, education, support, and inclusion. And that's what this community's got in spades. But this cautionary phrase, we must stop alienating, abusing other market participants. And I really think that this Daytona 500 Hex thing is really going to be a turning point for all of us to say, hey, we don't have to beat people up. We're there. We're at that moment, and it's becoming, mainstream. And I think this is going to be a big, a watershed moment, if you will.
Speaking of mainstream, I want to show you something that happened yesterday. Let me see if I'm doing them in the right order.
Ooh.
So I posted this guy, Andre Cronje. He's from Yearn Finance. He's on the board of Phantom. And I posted, is he hating or is he just, woefully ignorant? The guy's not woefully ignorant. Let me put it that way. He knows what's going on. He's a pretty smart guy, full of himself, but whatever. But Richard Hart it's not showing the GIF, but his GIF to it was hilarious. But what I found interesting is that right below it, I don't know if you guys know who Crypto Kobe is, but he responds to it and he says, hey, this is a good idea. So Crypto Kobe, who is the host of Up Only, who interviews tech founders, is look at Richard Hart. Look at his response. Even as a still, it's epic. It is epic. But like this guy who's supposed to know everything about crypto is like, hey, that's a really good idea. And you know what I think? What I think is that this dude heard this and was like, damn, why didn't I think of that? Because I didn't think about it. Wait, can I move this? No. Because I didn't think about it. Well, let me go ahead and try and kill it. And then this other influencer, by the way, this guy, won't give Richard Hart specifically the time of day, but he knows who Richard Hart is. But interesting that he actually says this is a great idea. And the Hexagon swarm underneath was pretty epic as well. People are like, are you serious? Like, are you trolling, bro? This is totally a thing already. What are you talking about?
It's kind of disturbing
that he doesn't know.
Well, it's disturbing that we know he knows and he refuses to talk about it. He's going to take it as his own idea. I think this just reinforces things that we've talked about here in the past, which is we can't rely on crypto at large to help us out here, because for whatever reason, and I'm not going to make assumptions as to why, there's just a lot of folks that don't want to take part in Richard Hart's stuff, which means we've got to build our own community. That's all it is. People are afraid to go out on a limb. We were talking about BitBoy. I'll tell you this, BitBoy has onboarded a whole lot of people into Hex. BitBoy has onboarded a whole lot of people into PulseChain and PulseX. In fact, I've heard his producers arguing with him about who Richard Hart is and who he isn't, and he stuck up for Richard Hart. I really see like BitBoy is probably one of the only really big crypto YouTubers out of like 5 or 7 of them that's on board. So we just got to build our own thing. We just got to, that's what needs to be done. I think the allocation of capital that needs to happen. We need to have our own news organization about cryptocurrency at large. And we need to just take control of our sector and keep growing. And then look at the chat here. What did he say? Was it Heinz Crypto? Heinz Crypto got onboarded by BitBoy into Hex.
BitBoy.
Hex McKenzie says, I first saw RH on BitBoy. Like, we talk a lot of trash about the guy, and there's some horrible things said about him. But at the same time, he's like, he puts his hands up and he calls a spade a spade.
Well, you know what's interesting? There's a question there from Funkmaster Hex. Can anyone give a good reason why all the gatekeeping, like any legit reasons? I certainly can. Think about the origins of Richard Hart, right? He was a Bitcoin maximalist, and then, of course, this huge bear market and everybody lost, right? Everybody got scammed and it was exposed, right? And here's one guy that's basically harshly telling you the truth, right? And a lot of people that I've interviewed have said, this is what attracted me to Richard Hart. But all these other shills were exposed. And I think that when Richard started doing his project, people were jealous, right? And they were seeing a guy that was taking a difficult situation and making the most of it. And I think that, just like anything, when people have lost, they want you to lose with them. They want to pull you down. And I think that, no one likes to have their nose rubbed in stuff, but that's Richard's MO. I mean, he's really good at rubbing your nose in it. I don't know if you know, but he picked the Bitcoin top. And if you didn't know that, I wanted you to know that, because that reminder is a constant reminder that you were wrong and Richard was right. And people don't like that. And I think that, you deeply offend somebody and they're going to gatekeep you. And I think there's a legitimate reason there. But you know what? If it wasn't for all of that and it wasn't for all the hate, Hex could have been something that was just a bunch of, folks from Wall Street. And it became, I think, the everyman's crypto. And it's really what has galvanized this community. And it's made us be owners in it with Richard. And to me, actually, I think in the long run, it's the healthiest, because it's been a organic grassroots project versus, just something that got tapped on by corporate America and went to the moon. It's like, he's the only one that fought through in the hard times. And he's the one that's built trust because he's been honest. And, people don't like being called out. That's my opinion of why the gatekeeping, or the core reason.
Richard's the best thing for Hex, and Richard's the worst thing for Hex.
Yeah.
And for his own ecosystem. And that might offend people, but there's no way that's not true. He's brilliant. He's smart. He created so much wealth and so much opportunity for so many people, and so many people are thriving, are going to be thriving. And at the same time, because he is so truthful and honest and straightforward, people's feelings get hurt. And let's face it, crypto is so early. This is still it's a small group of people that move things in one direction or another. And I'm not sure people really realize that.
And there's
Well-
billions of dollars, at stake. I can't speak the specifics because I don't want to dox the individual, even get close to it. But it's money. It is money. It's money not paid to those influencers where other new projects do. More specifically, there was a narrative, I guess it continues, but many months ago, that was exchanges hate Hex because Hexicans are told don't trade. Where do you think they make all their money? Richard Hart says this over and over again, but the reason he says it over and over again is there's a truth there that in cases where dollars are looking to be spent, exchanges with specific properties and in other ways, the exchanges have come in and put the kibosh on. There's no reason why CoinMarketCap would gatekeep Hex unless, and forget being owned by Binance. They don't need to be owned by Binance. The money that's paid to them is through exchanges, and people go, oh yeah, that's the thing. I just know that to be the case for a fact. And so that's a real thing. But Brandon, to your point, we don't need them. We don't need Crypto Kobe to invite Richard Hart on Up Only TV. We don't. They're just becoming more and more irrelevant every week that this moves by. And this idea of us creating content and being good people, using love and kindness to bridge communities, trobe assets. Yes, exactly. This is how we win. People, who doesn't want to be on Team Win? Who doesn't want to be on Team Win? And that's what's going on here. So this idea of positivity and just keeping this positive messaging, it's so good, it's so contagious, and it makes me want to create more content, want to do more streams, and want to bring more good vibes into it. I get nothing. Well, I'll tell you what, I get nothing from other projects getting rug pulled or not, having years and years without all-time highs. But I did hear something. Do you guys hear that Melvin Capital, who shorted GameStop and lost like 55%, bought like $1.5 billion worth of Facebook stock in Q4?
Oh my gosh, they just lost their shirt again.
Oh.
Wrecked, double wrecked.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm laughing, but
why did Facebook tank? I haven't looked into it.
Well,
because they had a really bad quarter.
Yeah, and they blamed TikTok. Honestly, I think they need to blame themselves. I mean, I haven't been on Facebook in forever. It's not.
Happening. And changing it to Meta, maybe. Yeah. I mean, they're showing as the long-term play, and maybe it will turn around. But they definitely had a drop in revenues. But I saw that, and I saw someone like underneath the tweet that was like, 2021 Melvin Capital, 2022 Melvin.
I deleted Facebook 2 days ago.
You did?
Completely done with it. Not doing it.
I may have to take your lead there.
Yeah, there's a good comment by Chaotic Creations FX Studios.
That's Johnny Chaos.
And yeah, he says the one where he says we have control. As soon as the mainstream influencers go into hibernation during the bear market, it will be a different world when they wake.
Ooh, that's good.
So important to know that. I think that it's easy for people to just kind of push Hex aside right now as a one-off and hey, he just got lucky. But what the hell do you think is going to happen in the next 2 years when PulseChain goes crazy, PulseX goes crazy? At that point, like, people want to make money. They're greedy. They're going to jump in. Yeah. So next 2 or 3 years, it's going to be great.
Well, and think about this too. It's obvious we've been talking about this for quite some time as far as the system state's concerned, but people support the things that they own. And, when you give them free coins that they have their keys work to, and you say, hold on, I'm going to let you have your coins on my layer one. I think what's going to happen is, think about Hex. Hex is awesome, but it's an ERC20 on Ethereum. When you start having your own chain and your own DEX, I mean, this changes the very nature. It goes from a coin or a token, a really good one, to infrastructure. And then you say, I'm going to give everybody this copy and allow you to bridge over and then, lower fees. I'm going to do it better. That's the thing that I don't know that people understand. That's really this exponent factor that is really going to grow this thing tremendously, because all people really care about, if you play to the incentive of their their personal greed, they're going to promote the things that they hold. And that's going to have to go through Pulse for gas fees, and it's going to have to go through the DEX of PulseX. And so rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah, just get ready, folks. It's not just Hex. It's going to be everything. And we're going to see everything's going to change. I think Johnny Cass is exactly right. They're going to wake up out of hibernation, which is a great analogy, to a whole new world.
Absolutely. And I just want to say K4K is in the house, so look smart. Look smart.
Oh yeah, I sent him the
K4K,
link. I asked him.
We'll bring him in here in just a second. Let me get to a couple more of these things. Davis had a thing about, because it sounded like he was kind of maybe a little like trolling Crypto 7's clickbaity thumbnails. Davis, I get it, and I understand being protective of certain elements, but here's what I do. Someone that's spending time being thoughtful and doing the research and creating content about promoting Hex, PulseChain, and PulseX, they're good in my book. Everyone has their own perspective. Everyone has their own observations, and they're speaking to a different set of eyes. You notice how many new females we're seeing? Like,
yeah,
and we, it's crypto. We're seeing like real females on.
It's
not a dude trying to get your seed phrase.
It's because of Brandon. You know this, don't you? He was on with all the ladies the other night. I was like, that little dirty dog.
I see what he's doing. He has crypto gym rat on. Dude, I see the game you're playing. I see the game you're playing.
Not like that.
Yeah.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, here with some more perspective, get out your little tiny whiteboards
and your slide rule
and your abacus. We got K4K.
What's up?
He is
up,
not,
dude?
I am so laggy right now.
You're not in. 4K.
Is everybody lagging?
No, just
No,
you.
you're lagging.
Yeah, I'm very laggy.
K4K is more in 1080 or 720, not 4K.
Yeah, true.
We'll let you.
Is my audio coming through, or am I?
Yeah, it's great.
Audio's perfect.
Maybe I'll just go no cam.
glitchy.
Yeah,
There
go
you go.
But
Do a
come back
whale.
in. Check, you can see it says you got a 10 out of 10 network connection.
It's your camera or something.
Unplug the back of your head from your
from the Matrix.
yeah, from the Matrix.
I
think you
even
need to
the
go-
audio, like the thing that tells you that you're speaking, is lagging. I don't know how that's possible.
Well, we
right.
can hear you. You're like
Well,
Wells
hang-
on.
Hang
It's a
tight.
great way to roll.
So
I do have a lot of
K4K.
things open right now on my computer because I'm about to stream after this.
Okay.
Oh, he came on to
that's-
promote.
That's probably it. K4K.
No, I
question for
I
you.
didn't want to start while you guys were going. I wasn't sure how long you guys were going.
Oh, thanks,
but
buddy.
I got entranced, by you guys speaking.
It was so funny. You posted on Twitter last night. You're like, should I stream or shouldn't I? And I started to type, hey man, if you end up doing it, we'll promote it on the thing. And then I was like, that mofo has more subscribers than me and need my help. And it's like I was gonna promote it anyway, but I figured that the tweet would be sort of like a funny offer. So we would definitely send people your way.
I appreciate it. It's all, everybody has their own little community that doesn't know everybody else too. So
Let me ask you a question, K4K. The bot that's going to go through and snatch up all this liquidity from everywhere, is that going to pump Hex price?
it'll pump EHEX's price.
EHEX?
I mean, it's because it pairs it up with all this pulse, which basically will kind of give it the initial value, because who's going to sell their pulse for less than like the sacrifice average price?
Right. Well, that happens before. Well, that's going to happen after the fork, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you just talking about like you think people will buy Hex leading up to PulseChain or something?
No, I'm talking about draining the liquidity out of all of these exchanges to put on PulseX. Would that not pump the price for Pulse? I mean, for Hex rather.
It does the same thing for every ERC20 token. Like it's pumping them all up to make the ratio more like it is on Ethereum. But since obviously PulseChain has like way more supply than ETH, even though it's replacing it, it has to like fix that by increasing the amount of pulse in there to make the ratio right. So it's
the answer would
technically
be
doing it
yes
to
for
all
all
the
the pairs
things.
as well.
Yeah, it's not just Hex, which is why.
Right. So yes. Okay.
So K4K, I see your TikToks in between the dude chugging the soda and going, oh, what do I do? And running into the garage. What's your take on this? Are we gonna see an all-time high by March 19th? And I think you got a financial background, or at least in terms of the macro. How does that match up to your
All-time high
vote?
in
Yes
Hex?
or no? Yeah. Well, you know this thing Richard
March,
Hart said, all-time high happens within 6 months.
Yeah, he did.
Have you heard that?
Oh, as
Yeah.
people like charted it out, and they're like, well, it must be before this time. That's what they did. Okay.
Well, 6 months from the last all-time high would be March 19th or March 20th.
Okay. I mean, you can keep saying that until it's not the case, so it doesn't mean it's gonna happen. But yeah,
Hey, Panda.
Dude, that's
I haven't
a horrible
looked into Hex
response,
for-
K4K. I'm just
well, I'm just being realistic. Like, it has been true this whole time. So if you want to say it will, then that's your name on the line.
okay. Yeah. Well, sorry. I can say whatever I want. I don't know anything. You've got a reputation to uphold. And Hex Bull Run, win 3.69K subs. I get a couple of subs every stream, so probably like 172 more streams. I'll get there. Something like that. So K4K being a little spicy today. Yeah, that's right. Dude, it's so good to have you on. So shill us your show without giving too much
Yeah,
away.
what's your topic?
Dude, I have this amalgamation of just like 20 topics to go over that I've just been thinking out for weeks now. And each one I'm like, oh, I should make a little video on this. And then I'm like, oh, I got to think this out more. And then I figure out new stuff. Oh my, the memes.
I didn't even know you were going to be on today, and I was ready to show that. How good is that?
Nice. Good K4K. There's so many little things because I just want to get these ideas out into the world so I can get some rebound back from all these people watching, because I'll ask these questions in the smartest chats I can find, and like on the stuff that's like the limit of my knowledge, and then we're basically like, well, I hope that the Richard's devs know what's up, because this is the limit of what I can figure out. And so I'd like to get this stuff out there in a good light, because there's some stuff, if you just do like right off the top of your head, you think of this issue. Like, for instance, if you think about, well, okay, if no one's going to sell, and I'm not trying to FUD, if no one's going to sell their Pulse for less than, we'll say, 0.010 of a dollar, which is what they paid for it, then we're looking at, like, but from original estimates, 2.5% of the supply is going to be minted, and so that's going to be 3.2 trillion of Pulse. So you do 3.2 trillion of Pulse that's going to be in these pools, and you multiply that by, okay, what's that times a 0.010 of a dollar? Oh, that's going to be $320 million of Pulse in the pools. How are we supposed to move the price up? And that was like an initial thought, and I'm like, that sounds like super FUD. What? I can't be saying that. So, I mean, but you can't have it both ways. You can't have high liquidity. Like, some people want high liquidity. Some, like, you can't have high liquidity and but be easily moved. But I've done more research, and I figured out like actual better, more legit, correct information, which is actually super cool. And I'm glad I figured this stuff out before. Like, that's what I'm going to talk about today, where that was my initial thought, but then I dwindled it down to figure out what are the actual better numbers. And I can also put a better spin on it, of course. But yeah, there's like all types of stuff I want to talk about in regards to PulseChain. And yeah, actually most of this is about PulseChain rather than PulseX this next live stream. So might want to tune in for that. I don't really talk about PulseChain that much.
We love all three, and I appreciate your insights and your intelligence and everything else. I want to get your take on something. Have you seen this? Have you seen do you know who this person is?
Who? Terrafin?
Can you see on the screen?
What are we looking at?
Sorry, no. This the BriFitDance. Who is Richard Hart? Have you not seen this?
No,
BriFitDance.
You haven't seen this either, Matt?
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Are you
Okay,
playing something
I'm
on the
gonna- I'm gonna-
screen? I'm not seeing it.
Oh
I'm not,
yeah, sorry.
I'm not allowed to watch that content.
All right. Okay, so hang on a second.
Nice.
Then Matt, close your eyes.
Okay.
I don't want to get taken down for a copyright strike, so I'm gonna play it for just a sec.
Who is Richard Hart? Richard is the blockchain founder. He's the crypto gains compounder. 160 IQ.
All right.
There's a reason I haven't seen that.
So, does anybody? Do you get Chad?
I
have you
know the
seen
back-
her-
stream, by the way.
What's that?
I know
Oh,
the
nothing.
background of this lady.
Let's
Tell
go.
us about
Let's
it.
go.
Tell
Tell
us
us,
about it.
Brandon.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you guys were around. You probably don't know the guy. Some of the most hilarious content I've ever seen in my life. Crypto Bitlord. Are you guys familiar with him at all?
He's like a.
He's nasty.
He's been around for a while.
So she was trying to tap into crypto, so she started doing these customized music videos for these influencers. And I think she did it for him, and then she popped off. And it went crazy. But she did it for like him, she did it for Bitcoin in general and all this other stuff. But it's the most cringy, like crazy
Dude.
thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, so I'm not gonna lie. It will pop onto my feed. The Michael Saylor one will
Yeah.
pop on every once in a while, and I can't not watch it. It feels like it makes me feel the same way as if you woke up from a fever dream and then all of a sudden you were on some sort of psychedelic drug where I'm like, oh, what? And I can't not watch it because it's so perfectly
It's like having
Not
malaria and
awesome.
LSD. Yeah. But
yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So when I saw that she did one for Richard Hart, I was like, awesome, bring it on. And I love that she still uses the iMovie sparkle stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's great.
Oh,
So
man.
more power to her. She got a lot of attention on Twitter from Hexicans, and then a couple days later, and this is a classic Richard Hart. A couple days later, she said, "Hey Hexicans, thanks so much for for all the compliments, but I'm Bitcoin long." And Richard Hart tweeted underneath, "All good." He didn't care.
I would have taken advantage of that comment, but he didn't. Oh well.
No, and she does her homework. I mean, I'll leave a link to it if you're Matt. Don't click on it.
Okay.
But no, it's not that bad. But she actually has done her homework. The stuff that the words on the side, like she DYOR'd before she did it. So anyway, I had to show it.
I reached out to her and offered to produce her a trap music track, but she didn't respond to me for some reason. That's when I wasn't popular. Maybe she'll do it now. What do you think?
Try it out.
Well,
Try
now
it
that you're
out.
on the pre-viral show, absolutely.
I saw this pretty good rap song yesterday. It was at the start of it was about Richard Hart and his projects or something, and it was some guy I'd never heard of, and it was at the start of there was like a 4-hour live stream that Richard was a part of yesterday while his other show was premiering, and someone in my chat posted it. I was like, wow, I wouldn't have found this, so I got to watch that. But he debates like a flat earther for like 3 hours. It's like not even worth watching, but it was entertaining to say the least.
It is. It's all entertaining.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I think on Twitter he said this is my first Hex track. He was
whoever that was, they did a great job.
So K4K, we got a question. We can't see the questions, but we'll read it to you. Hey, Terrafin, by the way, thank you. I went through and gave wrenches to some folks. And so thanks for using it. We haven't had to, but it looks like Koala got a little nasty. So K4K, if Hex is 20 cents right now, will eHex and PHex both end up at 20 cents, or will they split value and be 10 cents each? Good question.
There's this big thought of if we were to suck value from Ethereum, there's only so many dollars chasing a certain amount of tokens. And so if you split that evenly, then each one would have to be half in price if it were to be exactly removing, I guess, the value from each one equally. You'd have to reduce one side to increase the other one so much. But, it's not really that's really hard to calculate. If it's 20 right now, That's like asking what the price of two things will be, and it's impossible to guess one.
Yeah, I mean,
good
dude,
luck
do you
with
see
that.
the difference? Do you see the difference in intellectual and mental capacity? He's like thinking through this. I'm like, yeah, sure, man. No, there'll be 20 cents because it's awesome. Because Hex is awesome.
That's right, man.
So Hex McKenzie,
luck.
well, thanks for trying. Hex McKenzie, what's the username? Crypto Bitlord. I don't know if you mean the nasty person. Just know. So Crypto Bitlord was a Hexagon content creator and then left to go, I think, promote something else, and then came back and was welcomed by enough people to have him welcome back. But some people were kind of hating on him at first. But don't go to that channel. I think her name, the dancer person, is like Brit. I don't know. I'll put it on there, but it's like BriFitDance Fit or something like that. And let's see.
Hey, Panda.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right, I'm gonna shill because I'm about to go. So, headed down.
Oh yeah,
to
K4K.
the
Turn your camera on real quick. Let's try it again.
Crypto
Go ahead.
Sparbock 5555 tour in downtown Austin. We're about to head out for that at 5 and then 6, and looking forward to meeting some of these celebrity hexagons at the JW Marriott downtown tonight. So this is cool. This is my first meetup, and looking forward.
Oh,
to
that's
it.
today. Awesome.
Yeah, here in an hour and a half or so. So I'm going to be jumping off, but I don't want to miss out on anything important here, Panda.
Matt, have you? No, man, jump off. It's not a big deal. I'm not saying anything important. Will you do?
I thought he left immediately.
Like
yeah,
that
no, it's
timing.
perfect timing. It was his camera's like, cool, yo.
We're out.
Yabba dabba doo. So, hey, man, do you know? Are you familiar with YouTube Shorts? Like, you know how to do that from your phone?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, I don't know how much time you have, but do a little YouTube short from it. Like, give us 30 seconds of the love.
Yeah, I've got a whole list of TikToks I can just throw out. That's fine. I do a lot of.
Okay.
Brandon showed me how to do a TikTok the other day. So.
Did he really?
Yeah, it was on Canva. He was showing me how to use Canva to do my TikToks.
He's got his hand over his mouth, so I can't tell if it.
You know what's funny is
if he's waiting for the insult.
You know, I wish I could just do what Brandon's thinking. And while he's sitting there, he's like, these guys are idiots.
I was thinking about Twinkies, moon pies, and RC Cola 3 seconds ago, dude. You don't want to know.
That's not carnivore.
And the moon pie.
Oh, you're right.
That's not carnivore.
Meat cookies, man. Meat cookies. I'm about to do a pound of that right after this.
Oh, yeah.
Eating meat or eat meat cookies?
I take the ground beef, 1 pound. I put it in the pan on low heat, and then I chop it into 9 meat cookies. So it's delicious. It's great.
Wow.
A little bit of salt.
That's like when I was right out of college. I was broke, and I had a yellow lab, and I couldn't afford anything fancy for her. So but I would feed her ice cubes and call them water cookies. She didn't even know.
She loved it
until she died.
I could get her to do tricks.
Water cookies.
She's like, you want another water cookie?
That's like
she's
depression era
She's
stuff.
like, whatever, Dad.
The poor days.
Well, I'll tell you what. We can. Rags, you got anything else to say? You've been quiet, and I feel like you've either been trying to make yourself scarce, so I miss you more, or I am annoying you. But
you're not. You're acting like. No, I'm not going to say that. Well, I should. I don't care about offending people, so maybe I should say it. No, I'm not.
Don't say
Guys, it's great to see you. It's great to be around. Matt, I know you got to go. Matt's got a lot on his mind right now, and I can tell. We're going to talk afterwards. I want you to unload on me, Mateo. All right.
Well, let's be careful what we do.
Dude, he's out of stuff to say. This is Matt's 5th stream today. So what else?
I'm going to stream from the event too, so keep an eye out. I'm going to watch K4K all the way down. So K4K, thanks for joining in. Brandon, good to see you. Happy birthday to you, my friend. Panda, as always, peace out, boys.
Bye-bye,
brother.
Bye-bye.
I love you.
All right, so K4K, we will put I'll share the link on Twitter. So we get you there. If you don't subscribe, everyone subscribes you. I don't know who wouldn't be at this point. I think you're almost 8,000.
Almost.
But check out K4K's streams and TikToks. Brandon, you got anything to? Is any of your stuff planned, or you just like I literally know? I'm not even kidding. On like Friday and Saturday nights, I will look on YouTube to see if you got something going because it's just random and always super fun.
So here's you know what? I was reading a finance book, and one of the tenets of a really good economy is making sure that the economy is predictable. I think that also abstractly carries over into my YouTube endeavors. I need to make things more predictable. So the short answer is no, but the next answer is I'm working on a solid schedule to be streaming and putting out content now.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, this show certainly isn't predictable. We just
Negative.
decided to do it, but I actually like that aspect of it because we're not trying to do anything. Well, we're trying to pump everybody's bags, but besides that, that's it. I don't have anything else. Let me see what else I got. If I got another graphic to share, I'm going to show y'all.
All right. We'll check the chat here. Terrafin Rafferty, nice to see you guys. Naheem Khan, nice to see you. Hex McKenzie, always good to see you. Hexkin Tony, yeah, glad to see everybody. Hi from Austria. Hello. I bought PulseX. How before the mainnet will I be able to swap for PLS if I don't have PLS for the transaction? Well, you're not going to be able to swap anything prior to mainnet. And then the other thing that I guess you'd have to use the bridge when the mainnet launches to be able to get stuff in there, or you can waste a lot of money and sacrifice for Pulse to get something in there, which I don't think you should do either. You might just want to wait at this point.
Yeah, holds any ETH, so I have a little bit of Pulse. Plus, there's that free Pulse made by Victor.
All free Pulse IO.
That's a
free
great tool. I'll probably talk about that in some video at some point because I mean it's built by a guy who made lots of Hex and PulseChain websites. So
yeah,
Rags, did you do a stream
free.
on that?
On what? Freepulse.io?
Yeah. Was that you?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. Let me get a couple more chats on here. Good to see everyone. Thanks for sticking around. K4K, thanks for jumping in. Everybody, check out K4K. Check out Crypto7. Do not watch, like, or subscribe to any of Rags to Riches content. He does not want you to. He doesn't want you there. And definitely don't send him any super chats, but send all the super chats you can to K4K Crypto to encourage good behavior.
When are you going? Are you going on right away, K4K?
I want to.
What time? Let the crowd know.
Well, in the next 30 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Reboot your computer.
No, I think that's fine. It's just Restream I have the issue with.
Oh, okay.
And one thing I wanted to figure out is how I can get people's comments to show up on the YouTube.
Restream?
I have to use Restream.
You got it?
Hey, dude, I'll end the stream and just stay on and we can talk about it right after. Give you some.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping actually. That'd be nice.
All right. Well, I'm going to do the outro now. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for your awesome chats. We love you. Go, go, go. Appreciate you. See you next time.
Bye now.
Peace.